Jack Carr is a former Navy SEAL turned best-selling author known for nailing the details, including watches. The Terminal List series follows James Reece, played by Pratt, as he seeks to avenge the murder of his family. In this video, we'll discuss the Rolex, Seiko, Tudor, and more surprising watches in the Terminal List series, as well as how Carr's background and passion for watches inform his choices. Watches of Espionage is curated by a former CIA case officer with a passion for timepieces. On the WOE YouTube channel, we explore the intersection of watches and the military, intelligence, and national security. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be informed when we release new videos. From a vintage Rolex Submariner passed down to Reece by his father, a Vietnam-era SEAL turned CIA case officer, to a seldom-seen RESCO Black Frog and a Seagull 1963 chronograph on a Chinese submarine captain, Jack Carr's ability to pair timepieces with fictional characters is among the best in the business. And nowhere is this more evident than in the recently unveiled spin-off of the original Terminal List series, Dark Wolf. Dark Wolf is a Terminal List prequel starring Taylor Kitsch as Ben Edwards, a troubled former SEAL teammate of James Reece. The series starts in Iraq, complete with a historically accurate Casio G-Shock on Edwards' wrist. While the watch, which appears to be the DW6900-1V, is dead on, Edwards wears it on a braided paracord strap that we've not personally seen used by SOF, but it does look cool. After being kicked out of the teams and transitioning to CIA, Edwards receives intriguing watch-related instructions from his new teammates.
Drop your wallets, those gaiters and G-Shocks in the box.
Get yourselves cleaned up. New clothes, shoes, expensive watches.
For the rest of the series, Edwards wears a standard Tudor Pelagos on a rubber strap. The brand has been associated with SEALs since the Vietnam War, when the Tudor Submariner was issued to NSW in large numbers. The modern Pelagos is another well-selected detail that fits Edwards' operational history and transition to undercover work for CIA. The Pelagos is a watch that supports his persona. The watch spotting in Dark Wolf doesn't end there either. Mo, an Iraqi SF officer played by Dar Salim, wears an Arabic Seiko, aka the Seiko, on a nylon pull-through strap. Seiko, a brand we've called the Toyota of watches, has close ties to our community, and the unique Arabic dial is fitting for an Iraqi assaulter. Edwards' CIA chief, Jed Haverford, wears a vintage Seiko 6119-8060, one of the 3 watches issued to macv-sog recon men in the Vietnam War, giving the character layers and depth that line up with his CIA and Army background. Edwards' teammate, Rafe Hastings, wears a slightly corny MTM Spec Ops watch, and Mossad agent Eliza Parosh opts for what appears to be a mid-size Citizen ProMaster diver. But our favorite watch-related scene doesn't include a watch at all. In the first episode, James Reece gifts a Waltham wrist compass to his teammate, Rafe Hastings, indicating it belonged to his father, Thomas Reece, who served as a Navy SEAL in Vietnam. Nailing a watch selection for a character is one thing, but including a detail as nuanced as a Vietnam-era wrist compass typically worn by SEALs with their Tudor subs is indicative of the lengths to which Carr will go to build depth into his characters. For even more WOE, be sure to check out watchesofespionage.com for in-depth articles and our collection of watch straps and other purpose-built tools designed for our community. A central theme of Carr's books and television adaptations is the attention to detail the author incorporates into character development. From tactical gear to boots, sunglasses, and vintage Toyota Land Cruisers, the author's focus on the smallest details in special operations and intelligence stems from his personal experience at the tip of the spear. Carr joined the Navy in 1996, ultimately serving 20 years in the teams and retiring as a commander before charting a course for the bestseller list. His first serious watch was a Rolex Sea Dweller, given to him by his father after he graduated from Buds. Carr still wears the watch to this day. Along with firearms, trucks, and tactical gear, Carr developed a deep appreciation for watches during his time in the teams, which is evident in his writing. Whether it's a Tudor Pelagos on Ben Edwards, a macv-sog Seiko on Haverford, or a RESCO on James Reece, each watch is carefully chosen based on a combination of research and direct experience. The watches are tools of character development. Carr has an extensive watch collection, including a Tudor Pelagos FXD, a vintage Rolex Submariner 5513, and several vintage Seikos. Today, Carr also has Taylor Kitsch's screen-worn Tudor Pelagos from Darkwolf. Along with the popular on-screen adaptations, watches play an important role in Carr's books. Most prominently, the protagonist of the series, James Reece, wears a Rolex Submariner inherited from his father, who wore the watch in Vietnam as a SEAL and CIA case officer. This is historically accurate, as Rolex watches were extensively purchased and used by SOF during the war in Vietnam. In Red Sky Morning, the seventh book in the series, the fictional mercenary boss and head of Elba Industries, Andrew Hart, wears a Breitling Emergency, complete with a cosine dial featuring Elba's logo, a detail inspired by the Blackwater Breitling we've discussed in a previous video. Another deep-cut watch reference is a Tianjin Seagull 1963 chronograph worn by Commander Zhen, the captain of a Chinese submarine involved in a cat-and-mouse game with the USS Ronald Reagan. The Seagull was developed for Chinese military aviators using tooling purchased from Switzerland and issued to the People's Liberation Army Air Force. The first on-screen adaptation of the Terminal List from 2022 also had its fair share of deep watch cuts, starting with the watches worn by the dreamy Chris Pratt while portraying James Reece. Along with an Oris Prodate Caliber 400, Pratt wears a watch from RESCO Instruments, a brand founded by an active-duty Navy SEAL. In certain scenes, Pratt also wears a G-Shock GA100 1A1 and a period-correct 511 military tactical field ops watch. Looking beyond James Reece, an IWC Big Pilot is prominently featured on the wrist of Steve Horn, played by Jai Courtney, and Jack Carr also makes a cameo appearance wearing an Aries. According to an insider, the watch selections in the Terminal List were organic, informed by Jack Carr, and not the result of paid product placement, which is always great to see. In our community, authenticity is everything. From his collection of best-selling thriller novels to the silver screen, Jack Carr has proven once again that the right watch adds depth and interest to storytelling. Whether it's a Tudor on a CIA officer, an Arabic Seiko on an Iraqi operator, or a Vietnam-era Rolex Submariner passed down through generations of frogmen, Carr reminds us once again that for the WOE community, a watch is capable of more than simply telling the time, serving dual duty as tools and talismans of history, identity, and heritage. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and hit the bell icon to be informed when we release new videos. For even more, check out our website, watchesofespionage.com, for more content, as well as our collection of watch straps and other purpose-built tools designed for our community. Until next time, happy hunting.